That's what I'm here for. I love Pred. I love the community. I love BFC. Let's get into the draft, Jack.
Let's get right into this. We have probably one of the best matchups we're going to see in the entire event. Crutch and Team J, both teams very, very stacked. On Crutch's team, we are seeing TG White Wolf, Akarim, Snipe, and Verdict. And Verdict is actually one of the lower MMR players we have in the tournament. But I've been hanging out in that Discord lately, and he's been cooking. He's learned a lot in 4 days alone. Everyone's quite proud of him. I'm gonna say that. So it'll be interesting seeing how he does in this setting. On the other team, we are seeing Poggy D, Mr. Meds, you know, our PCC mod, and Jay, Warps, and RJ.
Yes, and having an RJ and Jay on the same team definitely isn't going to be hard to cast. That's going to be super easy. They basically have the same name, but there's no reason to worry about anything like that.
We're just happy. We're just happy. Go ahead.
This draft screen is sick. Shout out to whoever made it. I think it was Salsa. Not exactly sure, but whoever did it did a great job. It will be cool to see, but it looks like Team J is going to have the first pick. What are you expecting them to pull out here, Jack?
I am expecting to see the new meta just shake up everything, change everything. We have 100 pages of patch notes, so really, there's no reason in expecting anything. Mages are coming out really strong. We are seeing Grim come up to be a prio pick. Right now, Countess is being banned just because Akarim exists, and you don't ever want to give Akarim Countess, so that one's obvious. Grutz has some interesting builds, so there's another ban coming out of there, and we're just like, there's just a lot of different things happening. So I'm kind of curious to see, I think it's going to be more personal picks than what the meta will be right now. That's how these events tend to go anyways.
I agree with that, Jack, which actually makes me want to ask, you mentioned about Countess being like a preferred hero of Akarim's. I've been like on teams that Akarim was on and stuff in the past. I've always thought of them as a Shinbi main. So maybe we'll see that come out of them, but it looks like, the big ogre Narbash himself going to be the first pickup for Team J. I would expect to see a lot of that today and in this event. Some of the new items that came out, very, very good for Narbash. Narbash was already in a very strong spot. Seems to have gotten a little bit of a buff. The fact they put mana regen on True Silver Bracelet is like the best thing that could have ever happened for Narbash. So expect that to be banned or highly contested pretty much this entire event, I think.
One thing I'm finding very interesting about the meta is that the characters that were good pre-patch, the characters like we have an Aurora pick right now because that's going to be in every game from now until the end of time, until she gets removed from it because she's just such a CC heavy champion, followed by Zaris, so we can now stick you in a kit. We can literally put you in an ice box.
I like that tech. I also I'm gonna probably mention this too many times, but I think Gadget's in a really interesting and decent spot right now. Fantastic with those two heroes, especially Zaris. You put a dome on the cage, maybe Team Crutch will go that direction. If they have anybody that's like on their roster that prefers a hero like that, maybe they'll decide to go another way. There are a lot more heroes available than we've seen in pretty much any event up until this point. There's been a little bit of a dry spell as far as competitive events. We've had 2 heroes brought in, Grim and Aurora. The next pick is coming through for Team J. It looks like it's going to be a Gideon and a Chimera. So some jungle presence and a mid laner picked already.
I do like the Chimera and the Narbash combo because Narbash just allows Chimera sustain to keep itself up. If you take something like a Draconum or a Void Helm, you can turbocharge that healing even more that you're going to get, and Narbash is going to build that healing and shielding power. As I was saying before, the characters that were emerging towards the end of the patch that became meta and were favored seem to just do even better this patch. Like Sparrow's got a 60% win rate right now. I don't know if anyone actually knows that. That's so criminal. I don't even know if I should be saying it out loud, because it's like she is strong right now. Same with Drongo, same with a few other characters. And we are seeing the Grim pick go through, and we're going to see a lot of Grim come through the next week in your matchmaking. So don't be surprised. He also got a size buff. He's smaller now.
I was just going to mention the size change as well, Jack. I was going to say, you said we could put him in an ice chest. We also just picked the refrigerator for it too. Are you sure Cold is not on this team for Crutch?
I am very sure Cold is not on this. I don't think you'd catch Cold playing Grim until he had the actual gun pointed at his head.
Hey, hold on. You never know. That Grim isn't necessarily the ADC. A lot of people have been preferring him mid lane as well. We have to see what they decide to go with. I would be a little surprised, but it is possible. So we're going to move into the next set of bans. Steel's going to get off the table. Steel has been incredibly tanky since point 18 came out. Fire Blossom nerfs kind of stink for him because of all of the immobility, but he becomes such a beefcake that he can just stand there and amplify that damage on top of you anyways. So it doesn't really affect Steel particularly that much anyways. The next ban is going to come out, going to be Decker. So they don't want the smaller cage, or they don't want them to have two different cages, actually, it looks like. Yeah. And I can understand why. So we're going to get into our next things. Do you have any predictions on what direction Team Crutch is going to go here, Jack?
I would like to see Crutch pick up the Drongo. I would like to see Crutch pick up some sort of strong frontline offlane, because Chimera is a tank, right? He's a frontliner, but he feels limited in his capabilities. So if you're able to get a Crutch, maybe a Sevarog, maybe even a Kwong, something that offers a frontline presence and a bit of hard CC for that team, it'll round out that team and allow the ADC to do their job. Because right now there's peel, there's passive peel on Team J. We're talking about Team Crutch right now. Yeah, sorry. It's been a long day, but for Team J, I want to see a front line. On Team Crutch, I would like to also, you know what, they do need some sort of frontliner. They're probably going to pop a phase in there. That would probably be quite strong, because phase is also quite favored and allows the team to peel quite hard.
They're going to lock in the Twin Blast, though, so like I said before, we don't know where this Grim and this Twin Blast are going now that they have two basically ADCs locked into it. Very interesting. A lot of engage shutdown or engaged lockup into long range damage coming through 14 Crutch. Team J is going to follow it up with a Greystone and a Kira, though. So very good front line for them as well. Lots of ways to jump in. They've got the Chimera and the Greystone. Narbash can speed everybody up. And then Kira and Gideon can kind of sit in the back. Got circles on circles with the ults from their damage dealers as well.
So Team J's entire strategy is just, put that poker hand down. I'm all in. That is it. You don't got peel. You don't got real any sort of CC. You're just all in. Your 2 CCs in the entire game are a couple slows, a thunk, and 1 Chimera ultimate every 60 seconds or 90 seconds or so. Hopefully you can survive that, because Crutch has, they have a lot of CC in there with the Aurora alone. Then you have Zarus to zone people off. Now they have the Argus. So it's probably the Argus support to follow up on the Twin Blast. I am favoring Crutch's team right now, but I always favored more rounded, well-rounded team comps. It'll be interesting to see how Jay's team pulls it off, though, because that team, if it goes hard and wins, is going to steamroll the whole game.
I think so as well. We saw the Argus pick come in last, so even more like long range jump on these people, hit a long range stun, basically as Faye ult on a basic ability. So a lot of different ways to lock down, get this Grim and this Twin Blast like firing. But what I'm seeing from Team J is they've got a lot of ways to get to your backline. They've got Assault the Great Gates from Greystone. They've got the ambush from Chimera. Lots of ways to just point and click onto Grim or Twin Blast or even Argus, honestly, and just kind of jump towards them. But it looks like this game is ready for us. We're going to move over into it and get it started. It is time for BFC5 to begin. Here we go.
I'm locked in. I'm loaded. It is Geronimo, Jack, and Lance introducing you to the very first game of BFC5. The current champions coming to defend their title against the last pick in the draft. I'm very excited to see how this goes. I think it's been going to be one of the best blocks we'll see today, maybe across the entire event, because both teams are quite stacked in the grand scheme of things compared to the rest of the draft. Is there anything you notice standing out, as we're setting things up, Lance, that you'd like to kind of mention while we're here? Or?
That this Grim is in mid lane against a Gideon. Yeah, some of Gideon's abilities are a little telegraphed, and you can block one of them with your RMB, your alternate ability. You can't block both rocks, though, and then if he black holes on top of your head, how are you going to get away from it if you are Grim here? I think that is a very tough matchup for Team Crutch here. I've played with and against TG White Wolf a little bit. He's a decent player, but Jay is another beast who is piloting that. Yeah, he's normally an ADC main. Jay plays everything in solo queue, and this is more or less solo queue games right here. Like, yeah,
right.
They're in comms, they're put together, but it's 5 random dudes playing together against 5 other random dudes. I do want to mention we've got the Aurora in the offlane, Zarus going jungle, Crutch is going to be the one piloting that. So a lot of ability to move that Zarus around, get a lot of early ganks in. I do just gotta say it. We've kind of been talking about meta and changes and stuff. The item envy. A lot of people are building it on Zarus a little bit. This is Brawl, and I want to put a big old asterisk on the fact that this is Brawl, but I have been building envy on Kai just because it is very annoying. You ambush to somebody is basically a point-and-click silence on a 20-second cooldown. I doubt we're going to see that out of the jungler for Team J. It looks like that's Warps, but you never know. It could happen, Jack.
Well, I mean, Envy, there's a lot of items coming out, like you said, are really strong. Envy on its own point is going to be one of those that has a very weird passive. If you stack that up with an item like Silentium, you're getting a 3-second silence, straight up. So you might see weird things like Kalari support pop up here and there. We are seeing the teams, get a little scrappy, trade things off, as there's a very traditional jungle clear going on. We are seeing Warps opt for red 2s to 4s. He's skipping his 5 camp entirely, whereas Crutch is doing a full clear into his blue. So he'll be a level ahead, but that does offer some gank potential for Warps.
Does, and I would say that Warps is going to be a little bit up level-wise, but I think that Crutch on the Zarus has a little bit better early ganks. We see a little bit of early pressure coming out in the dual lane, actually.
And this might actually be a kill for Verdict and Snipe. We were just talking about them. They're forcing the flash on Poggy D. Quite impressive, because Pod Destroy is one of the better players in this community and this event. So for him to get pushed off that quickly is, something nice to see. He does have the Narbash, who's very passive in the game, but we are seeing a gank come in from Warps. Chimera jumping on to Aurora with the ambush, and that could be Akram in a little bit of trouble as the rest of the team's flashing forward. It's Jay coming in to help out as well, and Jay will secure that kill. First blood for Team J, the man himself grabbing it.
Put him on the board, Jack. We've got our first kill in BFC5. Gonna go over to Team J. Kind of expected. We talked about the earlier better ganks from the Zarus. Now he does have the opportunity to gank Pog, but it is Warps. Lance being wrong once again that gets the better gank off. They rotated 2 people over as well. A little bit of early pressure. Aurora pretty hard to play from behind. She is in an interesting balanced state as being the newest hero. However, from behind, especially into somebody like Greystone, who she's going to struggle to kill once level 6 happens, it's going to be tough. And we actually see Crutch coming over to try to even that up. Make sure Akram's going to get a little bit of time to be able to do some solo farming for himself here, be able to try to catch up. Should be pretty close to even on levels, but everybody knows in offlane, if you get a level or 2 behind, you get down 40, 50, 60 CS, that lane sucks. It's over for you. There is nothing you can do when you are behind in offlane without the assistance of your team. Luckily, these guys are in comms or being able to just drastically outplay the person, but that's not an option for me, right?
No, it's so criminal. Speaking of which, in the jungle right now, we are seeing a bit of an invade from Jay onto Crutch's 2 camp. He's going to be run down. It's all happening off here now in the duo lane as we're watching. Warps going right on top of Snipe, who is going to get taken down by the Chimera, having to blink forward. So a lot happening, in the PCC environment, it's a lot more structured. In these environments, people want blood. They want that early game lead. They just want to go. That's it.
And that's what makes these games so much different and more exciting or not more exciting, but a different style of exciting. The people are just kind of, playing their own styles, doing the thing. They had a week-ish to prepare for this, depending on their schedules, their availability to get in here and be put together. TG White Wolf, the potent refrigerator gank, does flash, get the flash out of Mr. Metz. He's gonna fall too.
And that is going to be 1 on the board for White Wolf and his team finally. Score now 1-2. Going back to the Grim versus Gideon matchup, Grim is in a weird state where he's quite strong, but he needs levels, and he's not going to rotate the Gideon whatsoever. However, I know you were wondering about the pick, but White Wolf, someone I've been playing with a lot myself lately, he's kind of been my duo partner for the last little bit. He's actually a FPS shooter main. He's an ADC main. So putting him in the mid, and he's a mid lane player in Predecessor. So giving him an ADC dedicated to the mid lane is exactly something he wants to do. Akram now going to use the ice wall to just dash away. They are trying to apply a little bit of pressure, but the wall in such a spot where Jay's just stuck in a corner, jumping up and down in frustration. He can't actually go anywhere, allowing White Wolf to farm and hit mid lane, hit level 6 first in the mid lane.
I love that. That was so cool. I played a little bit of Aurora, but haven't seen that much. I was thinking about it as Aurora was dashing away. Like, oh, can she like pinch them off there?
Yes.
Yes, she can. That is powerful. That is also the experience that Akram has. You know, Ak was playing Fault, was playing Paragon, has piloted Aurora before. Just because they're new to Predecessor doesn't mean that they're not used and familiar with these mechanics. So good job by Ak, looking like a vet 1 week into Aurora being out.
I think Aurora is going to be one of those champions where she's just going to be useful no matter what you do or how you play. You could be 0 and 10. She could be nerfed into the ground, the worst character in the game, and still have a positive win rate just because of how useful her wall and her ultimate actually is. You don't need it to do damage. You just need it to create problems like it did for Jay right there.
I was watching a stream the other day, and somebody was playing Aurora off or into an Aurora off lane, and that Aurora started Ice Wall, and as the tier 1 tower, they just made an ice wall and started in a comfortable safe spot back by their tower in the off lane, and made the enemy offlaner have to walk all of the way up to their tier 1 tower to get the first wave, and they were on their strong side.
And we're seeing an actual big black hole coming out of Jay, who's going to secure a kill onto the enemy mid laner. Crutch now in a bit of trouble as Warps is there as well. They are going to bully him out of his own jungle. Nothing for Warps to actually pick up, though. No 5 camps, nothing else, but he's going to look at a gank in the offlane.
And that's exactly what we were talking about in the draft, right? The Gideon has the ability to move forward onto the Grim, put a black hole on top of him. You have no way to get out of that as Grim. You can flash, you can hopefully potentially have a dash, or you can die.
Jake coming in again. This is the 3-man hate crime every 2 minutes onto Akram. He's going to burn the ultimate, but it doesn't matter. It's going to be Chimera using the cleanse to dive the tower at the ambush and secure that kill. Crutch doing what he can to survive, you know, like get his team into the late game, but it is just a trio party. I don't know how to describe it. I'll let you be the creative one on that one. What it actually is. Just poor Akram. That's all I got, dude.
It is a team that is informed and aware of what is on the enemy team and who they need to target. Like, Ak is one of the better players on this team. Aurora is one of the scarier heroes in the game right now. The game plan is clear, it is precise, and they're executing it so far. They're going to snowball it into a mini prime here as well. But if you focus what you think the biggest threat is and you commit multiple members to it, Jay is the captain of this team. He's a good player. He knows that he can move over and rotate because the pushing power of Grim really isn't there in mid lane. He can kind of clear once he gets a couple levels under his belt with those extra points in his primary ability, but early he's just auto attacking the wave and he doesn't do that much damage early. So that opens up the opportunity for Jay to roam. Warps can go wherever they want. Warps is completely in control of this map. He is the captain at this point, and yeah, that just sucks for Akram. There's just not a whole lot you can do. A lot of mobility on Aurora. You know, got the double jump, got the ice wall, got the ring you can put around yourself, but there's just not that much you can really do with 3 people coming into your lane in the longest lane in the game as well.
Yeah, Crutch making an interesting play, going on to Gideon, who's going to portal away. And then he's going to commit a little bit into the tower, which is kind of odd. White Wolf now applying the damage, forcing the back out by using the GTFO. Jay having a lead, and he's just going to allow himself to farm safer, you know, a little peacefully, a little longer. Warps now with the mini prime, looking into his 5 camp. We might see a push onto this. You know, he hasn't paid a lot of attention to the duo lane, but if there was a time to do it, it would roughly be now, I would think.
I don't think that there's any time like the present.
But we're both wrong. He's back.
Well, that's why we're talking and they're playing. You know what they say, like those who can't teach or whatever that saying is.
I'm okay
those
with
who can't game cast, basically, is the way that I'll look at this.
I'm
looking at you,
okay
Tang, you
with
retired son of a gun. But anyways, we need to take a second. Time to readdress where we're at right now. So it is a 4-1 lead, 11 minutes in. there has been one Fangtooth picked up by the team that's got the kill deficit to them right now. The Mini Prime went over the other side to Team J here, and it kind of looks like they are in the driver's seat. Yeah, it's only 1-4. Haven't had a chance to look at the CS numbers yet. Actually pretty close there as well. But as far as getting to where they need to be on the map and out-rotating and being the person that's forcing the enemy team to react, it feels like Jay's team is taking it to our defending champions here in Crutch. And I also want to mention, so not only is Crutch our defending champion, he had the very first pick in the draft as well, so very set up and stacked to do it again.
We are seeing a fight break out right now. There are getting themselves ready for the Fangtooth. Gonna be Poggy D going down along with the Narbash. Big black hole out of Jay, catching 2 in it with the Chimera ultimate to finish it off. Jay managed to secure the kill through all the damage, and then Warp's being taken down by Twin Blast ultimate. Akram now next to no health, along with his teammate Snipe. They're going to back off and just take what I believe was an even trade to make sure that pressure on the jungle isn't there anymore, and it also knocks off the Orb Prime from the jungler.
It sure does. And the other thing is it gets a lot of gold into the pockets of Team the Crutch here, which they needed. They were behind a little bit in kills. We were talking about how they were the ones that were kind of being reactive. Well, in this situation, being reactive worked very well for them. They found their opportunity. They found their opening. They win that team fight. Not that far behind. It is early in the game for sure, but that is going to catch this up. We are completely knotted at this point.
And the fight is about to break out once again as they are looking for their own first Fangtooth. Akron coming in with the big ice wall, forcing it out, allowing the team to secure it. And that's the kind of play we were talking about a second ago with Aurora. Now the team is going in. We are seeing a big bash break out in the Fang pit. Akron putting on those Nikes, making sure she's able to live for as long as possible as the rest of the team falls up. Poggy D dashing away into the ice field that's slow on as White Wolf using his own slow from Grim to try and apply the pressure onto Kira, who does go down after securing her own kill onto Akram, and that is a full team wipe in favor of Team J.
The RGS ace super early in it, not even 13 minutes yet. Every single one of the members falls, and that is basically the opposite of what we had just seen happen, where it looked like Team Crutch had won a game or won the team fight, caught themselves back up. That is erased at this point. They also, I guess they're not able to pick up the Fangtooth, so a little bit of extra movement speed, a little bit of pressure with being on third Fangtooth point for Team Crutch here. That is their win condition at this point. They need to focus it. Team J has to do everything they can in about 5 minutes to make that happen one more time and make sure they're not up against that permanent buff that 3 Fangtooth is.
Yeah, I think the Fangtooth going to Crutch's team is an overall positive. It's going to pay off longer as the game goes on. However, losing all 5 members to that team is a bit of a sketchy trade-off. Not worth right now. They're gonna have to play really smart, really safe to eventually transition that into the third Fangtooth, like you just said. Make it a win.
It's kind of their hope right now. Yeah, the game's not like completely out of their side, but they've really only had one team fight where they came out the victor on, and immediately after it they get completely team wiped to run the Fangtooth bit. Yeah, they pick it up. We've said it a couple of times now, but like, that's not looking great. What else do you think that they can do to like come back in this game? Do you think they have the scaling advantage?
I think Grim popping off is going to be kind of the linchpin. We've seen Aurora, just apply that ice wall to secure objectives. If they do more of that to allow themselves to just get that objective, it'll be quite good. But it really is going to come down to, is the team going to be able to scale? Are they going to be able to use the CC advantage that they have correctly? And are they going to be able to actually apply that damage that they'll actually need later on in the game? Unfortunately, you're working against a Gideon, you're working against a Greystone, you're working against all these tools to just sustain damage and survive damage and cleanse CC. So it's a bigger ask than, just say, don't get hit, do more damage, CC more things. Not that hard. Come on, stupid. Like...
all you got to do to win is hit your shots, you know? You hit the
Yeah.
CCs, you hit the auto attacks, you hit the abilities, the enemy hero goes to 0 health, and then you just push and take the core. If only it was that easy, we'd all be Master Elo, though, right?
I mean, yeah, like people might know a few things, like you said. The casters are here for a reason. We have an idea, we don't have the application, and the mini prime is going to go down to Team J. Hopefully, we'll be able to use it more proactively this time and take down a couple more towers. Because last time they just didn't really. They took it to take it more than they actually took it to get a tower with it.
Hey, that's global gold. It's denial from the enemy. You know, unfortunately, I believe Warps did die after taking it last time because they had that big fight right after it. But a lot of ability. We don't have any tier 1 towers down at this point, which is actually, as I say it, one's going to follow, of course. But that's the first tower down 16 minutes and 15 seconds into the game. That's pretty late for a first tower. These guys are very respectful of each other. Yeah, a lot of kills, but they've only been taking these fights in spots where they knew they had large advantages other than that Fangtooth fight, and they are playing as if they have been put together for a long time, and it's only a week, and I'm very impressed by the macro control and the like discipline that these individual players have been showing as a unit.
So Jay and Warps actually do play together frequently. They've been playing a little more than the draft. I'm in the Discord. You know, I participate in that Discord every so often. So they're both quite intelligent. They are playmakers. Warps, you know, an ADC player primarily, but he's still someone who is able to, you know, make decisions, understand decisions, and follow right decisions. And that's not usually the ADC's job. So when an ADC can do that, it does create a unique dynamic in the game. And we are seeing a tower go down as the third Fangtooth of the match is spawning right now. Big one for Team J, but also we want to make sure Crutch is able to secure that because that gives them the power they need. I don't think it might happen as Crutch now jumps in. He's going on to the Narbash of all people as he's 1v5. Gonna drop the Coliseum. It might not be enough as they're going to ignore the Fangtooth entirely to take out the members of Team Crutch, and that's going to be a complete dismantle for Crutch's team as they're all going down. Poggy not even dropping himself. He's managed to sustain. That's going to be a full team wipe once again in favor of Jay. This is the opposite of what we need Crutch's team to actually do to make that second Fangtooth worthwhile. Now Jay's team is in the driver's seat.
They definitely are in the driver's seat. I think that they kind of have been, aside from the Fangtooth the entire time, they're going to use this to take this mid-tier 1 tower as well. And it's looking bad. That was the exact execution of a team fight that you're trying to get from Team J here. I also want to just take a second to mention, you had mentioned that Warps is an ADC main. So is Pog D. So is Jay. They have 3 ADCs on this team, and only one of them is playing ADC. Also, RJ, the other member of their team, is a mid lane main. He's playing off lane. Mr. Meds and Pog D, the only people that are on their like actual roles here. So shout outs to both Jay and Warps for doing a little bit of flexing and playing different roles. Jay is an absolute beast as ADC. I am a little surprised to see them not put it on it, but like honestly, they're all pretty close to each other, and maybe Jay's just like a little more comfortable in the mid lane than the other ones are. But this team is full of gamers. Jay had the last pick. I want to stress it again and again and again. He did a fantastic job. He did not pick until pick 28 and 29. I think he picked up both Warps and Pog in that rotation. That's incredible at 28 and 29. Fantastic job by Jay.
It's pretty fantastic because, you know, ADC mains aren't exactly known for their rational line of thinking. So it's pretty incredible that the 3 of them are able to, you know, share that one brain cell bouncing around together and have it light up and work as well as it's working right now, because it's definitely showing that there is something special about this team. And I don't mean just in, you know, the funny haha way. I mean the actual performance way.
We do see Crutch kind of looking at Jay, but he realizes that he's just looking at rocks at that point. You can't just stand in front of a Gideon, especially on his tower line, and especially one like Jay. And we did talk about, you know, if Jay's more comfortable in it. He is rocking that Master Gideon skin, so he must have played this hero at least a little bit.
Jay's been playing mid lane for quite some time, at least a couple of patches now, and they are going to walk right in. Jay getting hit by the stun on Zarus. He's going to have to portal himself away as the rest of the team was just waiting in the wings to follow up and try and secure the kill on that mid laner, which is a very, very big pick for Crutch's team. They are looking to posture for that orb prime right now. Everyone in the game heading in that direction. If they're not there now, they will be soon. Even Greystone, going to stop his own T1 push and follow up, because this is going to be a very big game-swinging fight. Is it going to be Jay just running it down lane after they get the prime, or is this going to put Crutch back in the game? That is the real question here.
I do think it's a little bit of an interesting dance. We have to take a second to look at the time. 21 minutes and 13 seconds. Both of these teams are going to have to commit all 5 members at 21 minutes in order to be able to even kill the orb prime, which gives the ability to the other team to be able to react to it. So just a little bit of dancing and posturing here. The Crutch's team is using this opportunity to be able to do a little bit of farming and catch these waves and try to push them back to the right spot. But actually, it looks like they're moving away from the pit. They do have that ward there, so they could return to it quickly if they needed to. But they've decided that they came to the same rationale as me, that it's 21 minutes and it's going to be very hard for them to full take this. But Warps doesn't. Oh, actually, I think it was just maybe the cleanse, or he missed the ward as he was in it there, but he triggers the orb prime and then immediately walks away from it.
Yeah, it was going to be the wave states that determined, you don't want to sit and do the same thing for too long in these games. Every second matters. And with that being said, we had a great wave state in favor of Team Crutch. Mid lane was pushing in, but Crutch's team was able to sit there and farm a couple camps in the meantime for their team, forcing Jay to just posture while they waited for something to happen. And then they had to react and go to their lanes to peel it off and make sure that wave state is in their favor in case they don't actually lose that fight. Overall, I think both teams made the smart decision just by disengaging, because that was starting to look a little tense and heated. It could possibly be Akram getting hate crimed once again, though, as they're going to watch, clear the wave, and going to just maybe start this up. Teams are rotating in, and Fangtooth is spawning as well. There's a lot happening right now. It's kind of hard to see what's happening. It's going to be Warts kicking off with a black hole. Crutch going to blink away, but they are going to secure the kill. Onto Aurora. The big explosion happening right there that we've been waiting for the last 3 minutes straight is going to go in favor of Team J. Is going to start the fight onto Orb Prime, and that's going to be Crutch's team just backing off and letting it happen.
Yeah, there's nothing they can do about it. They lost Aurora, which is like super strong in the pit, right? You take the ice wall in, you push R, everybody freezes for a short period of time, and then your team can counter engage, basically. That's not happening without Aurora there, and with Crutch at like 4 HP as he was just about to walk out of that as well. Also, none of the other members were around. They are going to focus onto the Primal Fangtooth, which is a good decision for them. Decided to handshake it. This actually, I think, does play to the benefit of Team Crutch. If they're able to get it, they got to be careful. Greystone is here, jumps in, Allied team gets it.
Yeah, and that's going to be a big fight and big moment for Crutch's team. If they're able to get away, it's going to be exactly what they need to allow themselves to stay somewhat relevant in this game. But as Jay blinking forward, following up, he might get the kill on Argus as Akram is going to burn the ultimate. It won't matter. Jay able to secure the kill just around the corner by a millimeter before his teammate goes down, and they're actually going to take Crutch out as well. So that's going to be a prime take for Crutch's team, but it's going to be a 2-for-1 trade as a result.
Yeah, and the other thing that's nice about that 14 Crutch, they had to do something there. They had lost Aurora in it early in it. They realized they cannot contest or Prime. The only other option is you move over to that Fangtooth. Luckily, they picked up the 2 earlier, so that does put them on 3. So in about 3 minutes, when both of these buffs have worn out, the Primordial Blaze and the Orb Prime, they will still have that permanent 6% damage and armor buff for having that third Fangtooth. So kind of nice for Crutch if they can survive this giant push that's about to come.
They're not surviving a whole lot there. Yeah, a lot to ask as teammates go down right as you were talking about it. It's going to be Poggy D picking up the kill on Grim, and Twin Blast going down himself shortly after. Grim Gideon is spawning right now as the rest of the team is beginning to engage. Akram picking up a kill on to Narbash. With Jay's team being awfully low and awfully brave and ambitious, it's going to be the spear thrown through the chest of the Greystone, successfully defending the prime push of Team J.
3 members alive for both teams right now. It looks like Team J is going to do a reset, which I believe is smarter than Crutch kind of pressing forward on them to see if he can stop it, though. But that is going to be one tier 2 tower falling down. I got the words on me today, Jack. Don't you worry. I got everybody. One tier 2 tower falling down. And that's really it, which is kind of impressive considering the fact that they were up against an Orb Prime and they had lost members within the pit and had to do a real hard defense, not losing an inhib there is perfect for Team Crutch. That's what they need.
Yeah, it just the way the game's playing out, it's starting to crank up to 11 on both sides. Crutch's team being at, you know, the position they are, they do have that third Fangtooth, which is like the real thing running for them. Akram is able to apply that CC and that zoning pressure with Aurora, and even though Jay's team is ahead, and we've talked about how ahead they are and, you know, how the match has played out, it is definitely Crutch's team able to deserve some commendation for, you know, how they're playing and how they're able to keep themselves relevant in the game, picking the objectives, not taking that Orb Prime fight, and just, you know, trying those handshakes, trying to do what they can to stay alive. And they are. I think we're going to be in this for the long haul, to be perfectly honest. And I don't mean just this game.
I think so too. I think we've got a little bit of a lull in the action right now. So Jack, I'm going to take this opportunity to give you a pop quiz. What is Aurora's ult's name?
Cryoclasm.
Plasm?
Seism? I don't know. It's cryo something or other.
Okay.
It's really annoying is what it actually is.
I'll give that a 50% since you got about half the word. I think it's chasm, but I don't know either.
All right. Well, we'll have chat tell us we're wrong, and I will look it up while we have a minute or two, you know, with the slap fest is going off in the off lane as we speak. Just looking at things right now, I think Orb Prime is going to be the next big pick. Luckily for the other team, both Fangtooth and both Prime are up at the same time, so another handshake could happen. I'm not too sure which one Crutch wants to prioritize. Do they want to get that fourth Fangtooth, that bigger buffed primal Fangtooth, or do they want to get that pushing power that allows them to break those T2s across the entire map that hasn't even taken any damage yet, is my question here. Akram in trouble once again as Poggy D looking to go right into the tower. Warps as well, not going to be dissuaded by anything Aurora's going to put out. They're just going to run into the tower and take the damage and take that tower down as Jay coming in from the corner, applying the black hole. He will get CC'd, but it won't be enough. He's able to secure the kill onto Snipe. Argus going to go down in the process. A nice little push going off in the off lane as it's happening. Looking at that T2 possibly. Orb Prime hasn't spawned yet, and we are seeing Greystone pick up that mid lane as well.
Greystone doing what he can to stop that push that's coming towards this tier 2 tower. Hog D and Mr. Meds right on the tower line here, but they're not going to decide to walk into it. Probably a good decision, as we do have the large buffs respawning within the next 30 seconds here. Have a lot of gold in Pog D's pocket right here. 2,400 gold. Going to go back, probably be able to pick up 2 tier 2 components in the next you know, into the next item that he's going to build. I'm not going to pretend like I know the ADC items, especially with the change to it. I will say that I know Pog is going to buy the correct item, though.
That you can assume, right? We are seeing Primal Fangtooth, and we have made a decision on what's happening. It's going to be Team J looking to secure their second Fang of the game, and the Primal Fangtooth before the Prime spawns, and they are able to possibly secure it down. It's going to be just enough as Crutch's team's looking to go in. They might put themselves in a weird situation as Jay with a great black hole once again. Akram with a cryo size, I'm going to burn it off. It's not going to do a whole much to the Chimera, who's going to cleanse it through. Crutch able to secure the Narbash before going down himself, and they are going to try and chase down the team, but a great stun coming out of Snipe, forcing Greystone to pop his own ultimate. Verdict going to be in a little bit of trouble. He tries to blink away, but the ambush is going to follow through from Warps. He's going to secure a kill once again. He's in a bit of trouble now as Aurora is going to try and lock him down. This fight is going on. I'm running out of words. My voice hurts. I'll let you finish this off.
Oh, that was super good by Akram there. Put the wall up. We do need to point out Warps does have that super cool new Gaia Greaves item that gives him the ability to jump 75% larger. Still not big enough to get over the ice wall there and through the ring. Does get locked down, but Warps just sees red, decides to do Chimera things, continues to chase the enemy ADC, which was the correct decision. You do not want Twin Blast around for this. Now most of the damage is not available for Team Crutch to be able to defend this, which means it is a free double buff on a Saturday afternoon for Team J that puts them in complete control to go finish this game. They're going to hit a reset, get those items finished up, get even tankier, deal even more damage, and then it's time to just push it down and try to finish this game out for them.
So as we were seeing, I think those Gaia Greaves, that's the name of the new item. We actually know that one. Those Gaia Greaves are the reason why Warps and Chimera have been able to ambush in these really weird situations. Normally speaking, last patch, 4 days ago, if Twin Blast flashed away, there's a very slim chance that Chimera is going to actually be able to pick that ambush and land that lock on. Now he gets an extra 75% bonus height on that jump that is able to land that lock on and let it go through, not get blocked by the terrain. And I think that is one thing that's allowed Chimera to do such a great job in these tricky verticality environments. Something that we know Predecessor is unique in the MOBA sphere. Mr. Meds now with the Orb Prime. They're going to run into Crutch. He's going to throw the thunk out. It's going to just miss. And they are going to try and get away and defend the T2, which is going to go down very, very quickly for Team J, forcing the inhibitor to take the defense once. Now, this is what they need to keep alive. The Argus Crystal goes out. Akram applying that Ice Wall to stop any damage to go through and just buying time for his team to posture and wait out that Orb Prime as best as they can.
Right. The other thing that's really nice about that is it allowed Crutch to touch the fountain. He had taken a bunch of health in that last engage, wasn't able to be the initiator that his team needs if he's got a quarter of his health bar left. So now all 5 members can stand here and do what they can to do it, but they are missing the fact that there are 2 other lanes and there are 2 members of Team J, or 1 of members of Team J in each of them. RJ gonna take down this off lane tier 2. Warp's already taken down the tier 2 on his side, so now all 3 inhibs are exposed and being pressured by this Orb Prime buffed up Team J. Primordial Blaze has expired on them though, so only dealing with one buff. Verdict doing a decent job of pushing Warps off there, as Warps wasn't really comfortable just jumping in towards them. Jay trying to poke down some damage, but it looks like that rock did go a little wide.
Yeah, the 1-3-1 split working in favor of Team J and the rest of his, well, Jay and the rest of his members. We did see a second ago, you can see it right now, Jay is 9-1-10 in a 25 kill game. This man has almost 100% kill participation on everything going on in his team, which is, you know, absolutely incredible. Something I think we need to actually point out while we have a second before these hours are getting massively pushed here.
I almost cussed. That is actually nuts. Shout out to Jay for that. Able to push these waves in incredibly well as well. At this point, like, Gideon's just one-shotting every wave he comes up to. He's empowering his own waves. We still have this. Actually, it looks like they've converted to a 1-4. Are able to take that first inhibitor down as they've got multiple members committed to it, 3 over on the left side of the map. Oh, actually, it looks like they took the right side. I don't know. We're switching back and forth, and I don't know my left from my right. Normally, I definitely don't know it in a mirror.
Warp's getting caught by the Aurora Wall and the Hoarfrost Ring. He's going to just get out using the cleanse that Chimera has to his advantage. Great pick against Aurora when you think about it. You know, able to walk out and cleanse any sort of CC. Haha, fun times.
It was very good.
It was very good, yeah. So they are going to back. They are able to take down 2 out of the 3 inhibs on that amazing push that was just pressured there. This does force everyone to look at a Fangtooth fight. Crutch's team seems to be the first one to get there, but that's a very, very beefy dinosaur at this point, so it could go either way.
Beefy dinosaur indeed, but there's so much damage coming out from both of these teams. We're 35 minutes into this game. Everybody is getting close to that new full 6-item build feeling, and it is something to behold. I'm very glad it looks like we're going to be able to see a longer game and get to highlight all of these different changes. Let's talk about Verdict. Oh, actually, let's not talk about anything.
Let's talk about the big fight which had Jay with a great black hole going to end in the death of Verdict, who's going to go down to the ADC of the enemy team. Aurora trying to do whatever she can, but it might not be enough as the crash bang boom does go in. RJ and Jay are going to be the ones to secure the kill onto Zaris. 2 down, allowing the objective take for Jay and the rest of his team members.
Yeah, and it's going to free it up. It's going to be super simple for them. That's going to be their own third Fangtooth as well, so it erases that 6% bonus that Crutch has had for about 10-15 minutes worth of this game at this point. So that's tough. That completely squashes it. Yeah, these guys don't get the advantage of it either, but they've got the Primordial Blaze for the next part. And or Prime, the big purple buff on the side of the map, is getting very close to set up. It can be very hard for Team Crutch to be able to like engage into this, especially with 3 inhibs down. Team J, this is basically a formality for them at this point. As long as they don't do anything very stupid, this should be a comfortable win for them. They just have to play it correctly.
And the way the game's gone, it's just kind of the name of the entire game, the story of the entire game right now. We are seeing Crutch's team secure these larger objectives, but overall, Jay's team is going to be the one to actually come out on top of those engagements, despite them not securing the objectives. They played the long con. They were able to play these team fights so amazingly, get these great picks off, and now they have their third Fang too. So stat lines are even. Everyone's level, well, most people are going to be hitting level 18 at this point, minus the supports.
Shout out to Mr. Medsby in level 15.
Yeah. Argus is the one falling behind here, who's currently level 13. The Thunt going through on top of Crutch, who's going to get blown up by the ultimate on Chimera as soon as they get ambushed, forcing Crutch to go back. He's got no health. The fact that he lived is the important part here, but it does open up the Prime for Jay and the rest of his team, once again securing another objective. And this should be the end of the game. There is one last hero mode defense. Hopefully, Crutch can go big mode and close the game out, but it's not looking too great here.
They're going to have to go gigantic mode. A big mode's not going to be enough. They've got a double buff team running up to them. All 3 of their inhibs are down. 3 waves should be getting close to crashing at the same time. Team Crutch is doing what they can to defend it. Actually, it looks like this mid-tier tower or mid-inhib is still up. Akram doing the right play once again, getting that in there, stopping the minions. A little bit of damage comes down onto Warps, but he is so tanky. He's got a Narbash with him. That Narbash has probably got Everbloom, which is mitigating some of that damage that's coming to him. He's got the healing that comes from Orb Prime. He's got his own passive health regen. You're not going to kill Warps like that. He is fully tanked at this point. They're going to walk up to this core now. We're going to see if Team Crutch can do anything to stop this.
And it might not be the case as the wave does crash in. Akram applying the ice wall once again to block any damage coming through, letting the core use the AoE to kill that minion wave on its own. That's going to be a one big wave down, but the assault is not done as all 3 inhibs are there. The wave's being cleared by Team J right now as the final push seems to be coming through in this 38-minute marathon. Could it be it as Warps dashes forward? There's Jay with a great black hole once again. Aurora doing what he can to block off the damage. Won't be enough. It's going to be Jay securing the first match of BFC5